Here I have my wife's Jimenez 380. Oh, she'll bust a cap in your ass in a heartbeat. But we've been shooting double magnum loads with titanium casings, full metal jacketed ballistic tipped hollow points in it. And as you can see, it has tore the ejector pin and ejector spring clean out of it. So I've got a new pin, a new spring, and a new ejector to put back in it. But first, the trigger on this thing is extremely hard to pull. I ended up getting on the lathe and doing an offset cam with the handle, and to make this thing just a little bit easier to shoot, and I'll demonstrate. You take it and you'd hold the gun in that hand, and it's got an offset cam. You would put in the trigger guard and you would hold the gun like this, and you would aim it, and then you would just cock it back and forth, and as that cam turned, it would pull the trigger, kind of like shift and shoot. Wasn't that accurate, but it was about the easiest way to shoot it. You just, every time you pulled it back, that cam would roll and it would pull the trigger for you. But you mess around and double clutch that thing and miss a gear, it would get extremely ugly. So we're gonna go in here and see if we can adjust the trigger a little bit. And once we get the trigger adjusted, we're gonna replace the ejector pin, the ejector spring, and the ejector itself, and see, can't we get this thing back to shooting like it should. Let me get everything set up. Okay, I'm going to be using a Browning model FS 943 trigger tension instrument to measure the pull on this trigger to see what I've got to start with. Well, actually, it may just be a little $5 fish scale that you get from Walmart. They both kind of work the same way, so we're gonna put it in here and see what we've got as far as trigger pull. 7, 9, 10. Let's try that again. Looks like between 12 and 14 pounds of pull with that instrument, which I think is just a little too much for her. So let's sit here and see what's going on with this thing. Looks like this, about the only thing to change in it would be the Sear Spring. Just the trigger by itself, it seems to be fairly easy. Some of the springs over here, let's try and change the spring out to a different tension spring. That one feels a little bit softer. Seems a whole lot easier for me. Back to the vise. Five. Looks like about 9. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pretty constant 9. I think I like that a whole lot better. Okay. And another thing she wanted, we're going to change the color of her grips for her. She wanted to get away from the black. So we've got some lavender. Add a little bit of color to her gun. Not too bad. Okay. Got our ejector. Our ejector spring. And the ejector pin. Let's see if we can get this thing back together. Put our spring in. Get our pin started. Okay. A firing pin. Firing pin spring. Retainer. And that's all back together. There we've replaced the Sear Spring, the grips, and the ejector assembly on a Jimenez 380. Now I guess we'll take it out back and test fire it.